There's so much of New York City's building stock is pre-war. There are lots and lots of renters who live in smaller spaces, especially when you factor in the stock from 100 years ago or 80 years ago. People still live in tenement scaled apartments, but you can't build them like that anymore.
Wow. So how big is this?
This whole apartment's 400 square feet. The space we're in now is just under 250 square feet, and this is the main living space.
And there's hidden stuff, I'm sure.
There are hidden things, as usual.
But nothing obvious. I mean, I'm guessing that some of these have something, maybe they're panels?
Yes, if you look at that large panel in the background, that is the key element that transforms the space, breaking up the main living space into a sleeping area.
So it's a family of 3 who wanted to stay in Manhattan.
Exactly. It made sense to stay here. They were in the building before they had the child, and they're like, okay, I love this place. We'll give up our little bedroom. There is an actual bedroom, and the child has that. And then from the tiny living space, they kind of reverted back to a studio apartment. Okay, so yeah, you want to see what this guy looks like?
Huge wall.
Yeah, it's a 5 foot by 8 foot. So it essentially is the partition that creates a bedroom, which allows this whole thing to work out. Locks it in. Okay. This door from the closet essentially creates the bedroom.
Different color on this side.
Yes, so you have the interior wood that gets revealed, and it kind of creates an intimate texture that is really welcoming and comfortable. In this case, it's oak with a light whitewash to it to kind of lighten it up. And then we have the Murphy bed that comes down. A small space, necessary item.
So you always move the door before you do the bed?
You have to. It's a layered approach. So this is the first layer, which creates the room, which makes it a bedroom. It can also be a home office, a study area, okay, just a place of relaxation when you want to do that. So
this is actually the couple's bedroom?
Correct.
It's not a guest bedroom.
It is not a guest bedroom. So this was the big challenge here, was to create a comfortable, sleeping condition for the parents.
So you've recessed a lot in here.
Yeah, so like this, for example, you get a sense that there is depth. When you cut it out, you get the sense of the space being a little bigger than it is.
And the lighting, too. It's just a tiny little recessed light.
Yeah, probably one of the shortest LEDs, like 6 inches of LED. Important detail, though, in the space. Right. You do see this at all times, whether the bed is, like this panel is closed or it's open. There's storage up here, down in here. It's the wall of storage.
They do strap the bedding on.
Some people do, some don't. Some put it underneath the bedding. That's, these just come out very easily, so,
Oh, okay. Yeah. You probably have to make the bed a little less.
Yeah, but you can tuck your pillows on the side and put the pillows in. I do love this hardware. The legs do kind of come in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then this little magnet meets up with this magnet, that magnet. And it allows the door to kind of just stay there.
Right.
And it's also why there's a recess here, so it kind of locks and notches into here. So from the opposite side, the panels are flush. There's no wheels at all on the bottom, so it's all suspended from those awesome hinges in the back.
So as the surface of the thing you have to move gets bigger, the pressure on the hinges is probably higher. So how did you manage?
We have a steel frame around the perimeter and then an enclosure on either side of wood. I mean, it was really important for us to have it without the wheels. Pivot project had wheels. It's 1 foot thick, it's 8 by 8, it's a beast. This one, the nice thing about it too is it's so well balanced, it's just extremely quiet, right?
No noise. There's no friction.
Yeah, no creaking sounds or any of that sort of stuff.
Can you plan for that beforehand?
Well, that's the intent for sure, to have that. I mean, you heard the bed creaking for a moment. The bed's been in use for a while and needs some adjustment, but it's about balancing the loads and getting the right hardware. I really like this little desk. Essentially, this block of wood unfolds like a clamshell, and it's a little home office. Get to work. Pull up a chair. It's a great little office space. So the window, got daylight, got a nice little nook in here. You're not just in the living room. If you want some peace and quiet, just close it up. You can even do partial things, which I also think are fun. Like you can put blinders, you could probably just, there's so many different ways you can use the space, right? So if someone is over there and you want a bit of a sense of privacy, you're adjacent to each other.
Right. So it's the door for the bedroom becomes just a blinder.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think more importantly, obviously this big panel, I think really creates a great workspace. I think it also changes your backdrop. The backdrop might be gray, or do you want it to be wood, Change it up.
Yeah, you like this wood feel in here.
All right, get the cabin feel. Yeah, before you open this up, the cabinetry is plain. But once you open it up, you reveal the actual cabinetry, which gives you the kind of sense of craft and like a cabin, which I think is really intimate. Acoustically, I think it even changes as a kind of sound absorbing. Even in here, it's like a quieter room, like it deadens, the sound. And that's probably not camera ready, but. When we close off this third of the room, the daylight that's coming from the windows is now blocked out. There's a pretty careful attention to the artificial lighting in here, so you can really curate the space to what works for you. If you're using the living room and you're not in the kitchen, it does go a long way. Let's see if I hit the right one. I hit the wrong one. I feel like the space itself is inherently different. And if you want a little bit more kind of a feel of anchoring the sofa, right? Like this whole room. And I think it just really changes depending on the lighting. Lighting is very important. I was an early adopter of the LEDs, and they've come a long way. And what you can do with them is just really great. They're super energy efficient, but you also put the light where you need it. And then if it's not an office, maybe you'll turn off the light, and now you appreciate the natural light.
Even the fireplace is a nice element.
Well, so there's the hearth of the home, right? So the modern hearth is a TV for most people. We got the fireplace underneath it, and then the bookcase. Everything kind of rallies around here. This coffee table works as a dining table.
So that would be a daily thing.
Yeah. The sofa becomes a bunket. There are chairs in the entry closet that get pulled out, and then the family can sit around in here. And this, opens up, and you've got your leaves inside when the grandparents come to visit.
So no need to store your leaves in the closet.
That's right. They're all here. Multifunctionality is certainly the name of the game. The kitchen is also quite compact, but very fun. And before we renovated, it was an enclosed kitchen like so many other in New York. Technically, it's a kitchenette. It's less than 80 square feet, and it doesn't require, certain ventilation and other things. I like the name kitchen anyways, because even though it has a legal term, it's kind of a cute name. Like, if you can use like a bedroomette or a living roomette.
This is an apartmentette. I think we got the name for it. And there is a refrigerator, I'm going to guess here.
Yeah, so this bookends one end, and it creates a separation on this side between the kitchen and the living room. The client loved this stove. This was only 24-inch wide, but it has a lot of character. We have a under sink dishwasher. They work really well. We've used these quite a lot. It's not very common to put utensils under your sink. In this case, this kitchen is so small. As long as you really are attentive to details, right? Like putting a fascia panel of wood to hide the sink, it does what it needs to do. These are pull-out pantry. This is by far my favorite way now to do these kinds of cabinets that pull out. So you attach the bottom and top drawers to the face, and then you have separately pulled out drawers. Because some of these systems, you have to pull everything out, which is just much more weight than you need to do. And this will allow also things to, like these two drawers that have things that might rattle. You pull them individually, they just feel more solid, and it's just a nicer design. So definitely like doing these. It's more custom, but it works really well. Plus you have complete flexibility to optimize to put these drawers at whatever height, makes the most sense for you. And in this case, we bisected it. We could have done one tall one, but they're a little easier to use, the shorter they are. Made sense. Storage all up top, storage everywhere. I love to do this detail of like wrapping tile on the cabinetry on the underside, and kind of creates a cohesive feel. This is an area, right, which is distinct from that area. You know, there's another thing. Once I tell people this, they can't unsee it, is we have a gradient of grays that goes from the outside to the inside. Every cabinet is one shade darker and darker.
It's funny though, because you assume it's just because there's more light hitting this.
Right. This is the same color. It looks brighter here than there, but it's actually the same color. These two are different colors, but they look kind of the same. This project was a new way of looking at built-ins, where if the closet needs 2 feet, it's a 2-foot deep cabinet. And you can see it, how it just punctuates the space. It just comes in, comes out, comes in, comes out. It's that rhythm, and then it's highlighted by the color overlay, that slight gray shift. Here. So this is the closet. You know, at least somehow.
Oh my God.
You just check yourself out, see how it's going. Our usual pull-down rod at the top. It's a little overloaded right now. But a great use of space, right? So, I mean, I can't even reach that either, so it helps to stack. This is not a lot for 2 people, you know.
It's not really that much space.
It's 4 feet, you know. Yeah, and as we go down the hallway, so these are more utilitarian, right? So this is your utility closet. I mean, in this case here, you can start to see the gray, you know, because these are coplanar, it's easier to see.
But you know, it's funny, it's kind of like the blue gold dress. I wouldn't have known, because your eye thinks I was just less light coming in. I think you're adjusted to what you're expecting.
Right, so it's a bit of a dark space. And as you recede from the windows towards the middle, it's relatively dark. And it was this acceptance, if not just celebration of, you know what, it is what it is. It's a darker, and let's just paint it darker and just kind of emphasize it. So we have these closets. Putting shelves on them makes a lot of sense when they're extra deep, right? So this is one of those conditions where, so this was the footprint of the original closet for the entry foyer. Okay. So it's more than what you need, so we add the shelving on that additional foot that we added, because we can line the whole wall with cabinetry. So adding shelving onto doors is not a lot of people do, but we love doing it. You know, a while ago, they weren't adjustable. So we like to do these now where you see the holes, so you can adjust the height to suit your needs. So these doors, similar to the other big panel over there, they need some specialized hardware. So these are heavy-duty hinges.
What about this here? Is there something that goes across?
Yeah, so now you're getting into the next world. You're now moving from the adult parent domain, the communal living, to the more private and quiet space where the child is. So this is a pocket door. So this actually creates another layer of privacy and separation. So if you want to stay up late and the kid wants to go to sleep, good night. They also can fool yourself to think, you know, that you're single again, or you're like just a couple without a kid. It's just another way to make it feel like there are separate rooms upon other separate rooms.
When it's morning, the kids gotta get up.
Time to go. Yeah, so this is the original footprint of the bedroom, and it's quite tiny. Putting in a Murphy bed in here made a lot of sense. Okay, there you go. Now that we're strapped in, this is a tiny little Murphy bed. It's the smallest Murphy bed that we've done. Right, so now you have floor plate. You know, you can take that what you want to do. Want to play a game? Off you go. You know, want to do homework? Got room. You don't feel like you're going to fall asleep while you're doing your work. You know.
Right.
Just gives you more room. If you want to be doing crafts, play some sports, take a ball. Yeah, I mean, certainly, you know, kids will use what they have. And
Yeah.
in this case, you're giving them a room that there's space to play.
Nice.
Frees up space, you know. I mean, I'm also a pretty big proponent of, even though it's a bedroom, if you put the bed out of sight, you think a little differently. You know, you focus on other things. If it's a school night, you need to do homework. You're not necessarily thinking about sleeping, because there's a bed, but you don't see it. Out of sight, out of mind. Since this space, it's sort of the domain just of the child, it really kind of helps to be able to use it for playing, sleeping, just multifunctional, as opposed to the space beside the bed, which the bed takes, in this case, almost half of the room. We have this huge closet door, which again is this idea of storage on the door.
It's like a whole little world opens up here, right? Like suddenly you have all your games and your books and your balls.
Everything you would ever want. Again, we added this storage because we built out from the existing wall. So the original closet is fitted at 2 feet as you would for typical use, but because we built out this cabinetry, every inch is optimized. And it creates kind of like a little walk-in closet, which in this case is a library, sports.
Some people need a full-size garage for all of that.
Yeah, and there's little details that the lights come on automatically when you open a door. Slight squeak. It definitely is working hard. So you'll notice that this one doesn't have the hinges as the one in the hallway.
Oh, yeah.
And in this case, it's again floor to ceiling. So it's a pretty big door. The same hinges that we used in the panel for the Murphy bed. So they're concealed hinges.
And they're pretty heavy duty.
They're heavy duty. You put as many as you need, and they do come in different ratings.
Because this is probably a heavy door.
It is a heavy door. I would say it's on the upper edge of what it should be with this many books. But again, out of sight, out of mind. All of that stuff. If you're not in the mode of getting dressed or playing, it's just out of sight. Whoa! See, you take out your friends when you need them, and so this has its own little desk, actually bigger than the one in the living room. So this works by itself. There's this nice little detail here where this can add additional strength. Now you can sort of stretch out. So now it's
Oh, yeah.
stronger. Yeah. What we did here is around the perimeter of the room, there are different shades of gray. There's a slight difference in that one. So each one changes a little bit. This room is a bit of a party room. I mean, this light, the moon, and then the lights at the ceiling change color. This is on the white end. Whoa, green, blue. I mean, it totally changes the mood.
Cool.
Again, it makes the room here special.
This, because you sort of see the whole how big this is, and this they decided to give it to their child, their daughter, rather than take it for themselves, or.
Yeah, so that was a clear decision from the beginning that they knew they could successfully pull off a living space. Their routine is they can be more flexible. The tiny little bathroom it's the original footprint. I mean, really, this is the footprint of before. So this narrow hallway this is the original walls. You can't build a brand new bathroom of this scale in New York to be code compliant. Like,
Really?
This is grandfathered.
Hop in.
Hop in! I mean, it's cozy, but it's I think 32 inches probably. So and it's the full width, right? So I think this is 4.5 feet or just a little bit 4. But you got your fully enclosed bathroom.
And so is that tile? I don't.
It is a tile. Yeah, the color makes the room, which is quite small, kind of have a character to it.
But it's great. You're surrounded by this material.
Yeah, exactly. One, again, as it is in the rest of the apartment. Yeah, and this is a medicine cabinet with this little, again, like throughout the rest of the apartment, little slats down in here for shelves. Warms up the space. Nice. We also have the same kind of idea going on in the door handles.
Not a two-person bathroom.
Exposing the brick was a big move.
Did you expect to find brick?
The client knew that there was brick in there. I think there was another apartment somewhere in the building that exposed it. So we're like, all right, we're gonna expose it. Didn't know how it'd look. And I mean, it's not the prettiest brick. Some people would not bother exposing that. It's got concrete and different colored bricks, and it's not so homogeneous. Big cracks in it.
But I like it.
It's got character.
It has
It's got a lot of
character. You can't buy that.
Yeah. But you can also see now the concept that I was saying is like you feel that gradient of white washing across.
It's a very calming apartment. Yeah, with the lights off, right?
It's moody in a good way. It's a good mood. Just kind of celebrating just kind of the moment. Calming.